stop. It is happening to people right now that are just afraid to speak up. Who else is willing to even say a single thing against CZ or Binance? That's not me. It's just me.
Kim did. Kim. Actually, I want to give props. Kim stood up to him live on stage here. Invited him. CZ and Kim had a debate. But I do agree that most people wouldn't. Even me, I'd be like, I'd think 3 times before criticizing.
Richard, I'm killing myself also for 5 years telling people that their reserves are fake and that all of them are shit coins, including Bitcoin. And you know what? Like, I'm gonna get shit again, but quite seriously, the elephant in the room is that not only this crypto thing is like you should pull your keys out of the exchange essentially because it's not your coins. It's the same thing as the normal banking system. When you deposit your money in the bank, it's not your money anymore. It's their money. They can do whatever they want with it. And so is the same thing. So at the end of the day, I think the elephant in the room is that what's happening now is that people are trying to consolidate their treasuries, but they're doing it wrong. And they're going on to fiat-backed shitcoins that are also going to fail. And then it's going to propagate onto people trying to get their money from the normal banking system. And that also is going to fail. And people don't listen that ultimately it's going to be either gold or you're broke. And, quite frankly, you can give me as much shit as you want, but I think it's normal that you have a little bit of a diversification of mind and portfolio. You don't need a Peter Schiff here. I mean, quite frankly, it's 3,000 years of evolution, and Bitcoin is basically outdated. So as far as I'm concerned, I always say, and I'll say it again, you vote with your feet, you vote with your wallet. I'm in Switzerland. I'm balls deep in gold, and I'm very happy this way.
So the issue is you have gold's not a productive asset. So basically, the way speculation works is the maximum gains happen for the things that are the newest. And as things age and have been around longer, they become demarginalized. So
buy Dogecoin then.
Well, no, Dogecoin is Dogecoin's a little weird because the world's richest guy just took it under its arm and decided to shill it for a laugh. If he didn't do that, Dogecoin would still be terrible. And it kind of is still terrible, but because the world's richest guy uses it as like vanity project for no. So I was telling people earlier on my own space that if you're in a coin that's not a smart contract network, you will always suck middleman D, always, for the rest of your life, because you can't de-risk into a stable. And some stables are less risky than others. So for instance, USDC and USDT have admin keys whereby anyone that works at those companies can just invalidate your coins at will, literally, the exact opposite of why crypto was invented. You have less counterparty risk with something like DAI, but unfortunately, DAI is backed in large part by USDT and USDC. And so if those guys decided to flip their admin keys...
So I have some breaking news here that just came in from Cointelegraph.
Sorry, just a minute. So Richard, we do this in the space with breaking news, and then we'll get back to it. Go ahead, chat.
All right, so this is from Cointelegraph. This goes back to Terra now. South Korean prosecutors are now calling on Terra co-founder Shin Hong-seong to cooperate. Authorities allege that Shin Hong-seong earned roughly $105 million in profits from legal sales of Luna tokens before Terra's collapse.
So here's what's so funny to me. All you stupid people that couldn't listen to me that just got wrecked on that centralized exchange, the opposite of crypto, you think this guy owes you money. You think he did something illegal. I got bad news for you. Go read your terms of service when you signed up for that crap and sent your selfie in, okay? And let me know if you're a secured creditor and have a UCC1 form. Oh, but they're based in the Bahamas, so pretty unlikely. Or if you're an unsecured creditor and they could do anything they want with the money and you could eat crap, it's not your money anymore.
Yeah, it's not actually the case, Richard. So in the terms and conditions, it was meant to be custody and it was illegal for them to use it. So it wasn't like Celsius where they had permission to use it.
To make fun.
I defer to Simon.
And they've moved into
Mario.
Chapter 11
Peter
in the
Schiff
US.
is in the audience if you want to bring him up.
Peter Schiff,
please do not. Oh my God!
No, of course I will. Of course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to savage Peter again.
Join us.
Oh my God! So back. So gold. Gold is something you dig out of the ground.
This is where Peter, Richie, Peter, this is Peter's perfect moment to say, this is probably our most difficult time to debate, Peter.
Gold
Peter and I agree on some stuff.
years, though.
Peter, just to let Peter, hold on, Peter, I just sent you through a DM. So if you check your DMs on Twitter, you'll see an invite to come up on stage.
Yeah, Richard. To be fair, this is the time when Peter looks at the 1 year chart and sees that Hex crashed harder than Bitcoin.
Yeah, and it's only up 60,000% now.
Yeah,
like Hex is only up 60,000%.
If you started there right at the beginning, but how it's performed for those that have listened to your talks around why they should buy it. So
Bitcoin dropped 75%.
Give us I told you so.
If I held on to Bitcoin right now, from when I first held it back in 2012, when it was $13 a pop, I'd still be up a massive amount of percentage.
That's ridiculous. Right. Guys, pro tip: crypto goes up 3 years, down 1 year, and it's been doing it for 12 years. It's not rocket science. It's really easy.
You got to give the two sides to the story, which is
I'm happy. I know more about gold than Peter. It's fine. I understand that. It's a reflexive system. I get it. It's fine. Look, bro, my coin I gave away for free. Let me know when they give you some gold for free. You know how many airdrops we got for free? Uniswap was free. 1 inch was free.
So you're saying that no one lost
their
money in
What about the people that bought it, though? You're talking about right at the beginning. A lot of people
every single speculative instrument has the property that people that buy low and sell high.
If you gave it away for free, does that mean you failed the Howey test? Or?
One thing at a time. Every single speculative instrument has the property that the impatient pay the patient. That the people that buy bottoms and sell tops take the money from the people that buy tops and sell bottoms. Every single speculative instrument in the world has this property. And it's not just speculative instruments. It's also Beanie Babies, it's collectibles, it's comic books, it's Ferraris. I'm up on my Ferrari. I bought a Ferrari. I made money on it. Why? Because they're sold out. So
come on,
you
Richard,
cannot.
To be fair, I know it's like your
no,
way
but
of things.
You cannot program it away.
Things, but come on,
it's a feature of the system.
Honestly, Richard,
you can't get rid of it.
There's a lot of people that are suffering. They've lost money.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
I know you warned them. I know that if they had listened to you, but to be fair, like there's people in the audience because that are really, really suffering and
then just wait 6 months and we get a bull run again and you get to get rich again. Go get a real job, be productive in society, save up some money, and buy the dip.
Everything about Ferraris and diamonds and how they're all idiots. Like, it's not. I know
it's not useful.
It gets traffic, but it's not tasteful.
It's not useful to get everyone else wrecked. My focus is on the guys that aren't wrecked yet. I want to save those guys. I can't save the guys that already got wrecked.
Quickly, guys, I've got breaking news, guys. Chat, did you see it about Alameda? Just sorry, quickly, guys. And Peter Schiff, I've sent you an invite via DMs on Twitter. I see you in the audience if you want to come up. But do you see the breaking news chat from Daily Huddle? I'll read out the title.
Checking it right now. It looks like, oh boy.
Legit.
Okay. Let me go ahead and read this out here right now. So, Three Arrows Capital has broken its silence. Says that FTX and Alameda hunted their positions during the Luna collapse. The founders of the now defunct crypto hedge fund Three Arrows Capital are speaking out after months of silence in the wake of the firm's bankruptcy. Three Arrows founders, this is from dailyhuddle.com. Three Arrow Capital founders Kyle Davies and Zhu Su have both taken to Twitter to speak on the recent collapse of the crypto exchange. FTX, trading arm Alameda Research, saying that the firms were also involved with triggering its bankruptcy. Let's see who this is from here. So this is from
that is the stupidest take I've heard.
So Davies, please let me finish, Richard. So Davies said, I ran a hedge fund, Three Arrows, with Sue over a decade, 7 to 10 figures organic. Since 2018, we were all in on crypto. In May 2022, Luna exploded, and the aftermath, correlated positions, spreads, investments, all moving on against us. We understand now that FTX and Alameda hunted our positions, but at the end of the day, we lost our money. We were the largest dollar losers, and that's of LPs, liquidity providers, and creditors. Today, we are not in control of the firm. There's a liquidation process which will run due course for all involved. Responding to what purport to be screenshots of a Telegram chat with Alameda, Zhu Su says that Three Arrows Capital was wronged in some way, but didn't go into details. He says, it's a long story, but we were scammed just like you guys. It's okay. Justice is coming. Despite any claims against FTX or Alameda, both Davies and Zhu have both said they perhaps could have spent more time studying the mechanics of Luna and UST before investing in it. Luna/UST was unprecedented, and we completely messed up the thesis around it. We were attracted by the quality of backers, builders, team, and didn't spend enough time on the mechanics. Simon, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this, especially in the part that I just mentioned on liquidation after that news just broke.
Just really quick, Peter Schiff is in the audience. If you can move him up, Mario.
I've already sent him an invite via DMs. He has an invite in his Twitter
For the
DMs.
audience that doesn't understand what hunting someone's position means, you can only get your position hunted if you have margin leverage. If you're a spot holder of a thing, no one can ever hunt you. No one can ever liquidate you. The price is totally irrelevant. If you held Bitcoin like I did, so I mined Bitcoin when it was 50 cents, and then it went up to $30, and I bought a bunch of it, and then it went down 93.5% to $2. And then I held, because why the heck would I sell a 93% dip? You'd have to be an idiot, right? But guess what? In crypto, we got a lot of idiots. So then the price went up to $1,300, and then it went down to $200, and then it went to $20,000, and then it went to $3,000, and then it went to $14,000, and then it went to $3,800, and then it went to $69,000, and now on the way to my 10K call, we've stopped at 15,400. So crypto is extremely volatile. It goes up for 3 years, it goes down for 1. The guys that buy the top and sell the bottom lose all their money, and where does their money go? It goes to the people that bought the bottom and sold the top. Everyone that gets margin trading in crypto gets liquidated and annihilated. Everybody. And anyone that ever plays short in any market gets totally annihilated every single time, because the money printer keeps printing and all of the charts go mostly up and to the right forever. Some small group of charts which suck and are scams or have inverse reflexivity like Luna did, where the lower the price went, the higher the supply went. So normal crypto, you get about a 95% dip, and that's about it if you've got product market fit. But with something that has negative reflexivity, where it increases supply as price drops, then you're going to get absolutely wiped out. There was a company that lost $20 million shorting Luna, and it dropped 90% like 3 times over 2 weeks. Can you imagine getting liquidated shorting something that went down 90% 3 times? Well, you know what? I warned people not to short it because you'll get liquidated on a scam wick. The market will bounce up just for a second to hit your liquidation, and then it'll go back right where you thought it would go, and you'll lose all your money. If you trade in crypto, it's the 100% most reliable way to lose all your money. And if you don't believe me, just ask Three Oaks Capital. Just ask Sam from Alameda, Sam Bankman-Fried. They all lost their money by trading. They made a crap ton of fees, and if they would have just made normal money and not got leveraged up and just rode the fees like BitMEX, they'd be rich as heck. They'd be rich as heck.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts here.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. Martin?
Hi, I just was wondering if Richard has like a gene where he has to include self-promotion in every single thing he says.
Only when I'm a god in the space and you kneel to me, yeah, I do.
I don't kneel to you. You're insufferable. And
meritocracy.
Half the things
meritocracy
you say
and
are
receipts.
Idiotic. There are so many people who made billions in this space that you haven't, and they're not like you. They are humble and they.
I raised $27 million for charity. How much you raise?
I've actually given more money than that to charity. Than you.
Really? How much?
Don't do the dick measuring competition. Just leave it. Like
Martin,
it's not what we're here for.
I've actually taken companies public.
Martin, anyone else?
Richard, we've heard it many times. We're trying.
Yeah, but I don't want to sit here and brag. I already finished, but he's bringing it up.
You're the one who starts. That's the problem.
No, dude, but I already finished. You're just making it last longer.
Look at your website. It's a clown show.
Yeah, look, I'm the only self-help author with a coin. I'm the only one that called the top on the day. I'm the only one that produced a 10,000x coin that went up in a year and a half of perfect, flawless operation for 3 years. You're not paying attention to the score chart. I already won.
That sounds
Bitcoin dropped 75. Bitcoin dropped 75%. Ethereum dropped 85%, and Hex dropped 95%. Seems pretty fair and reasonable to me. Seems like really good performance. And by the way, Ethereum wasn't paying you interest the whole time, but Hex was. Bitcoin wasn't paying you interest the whole time, but Hex was.
And it was for free.
Did you get Ethereum for free?
Peter, go ahead.
You're successful, but the point is, you don't see the Winklevoss twins going around doing this.
And what are the Winklevoss twins doing? I know people that can't get money off Gemini. How are the Winklevoss twins doing?
Richard, what happened to you as a child? Like, why do you have to do this? Why do you have to keep telling us about this?
Because I did it the other way, and no one listens, man. I look at my follower chart. There was pre-stupid clothing and post-stupid clothing.
Things that you were happy about as a child.
Really? Don't insult Richard, but then attack his family. Are you baiting me right now? I'm not even going to take the bait.
everybody, as you're choosing who your gods are and who you would
Listen,
like to bow your knee to,
let's just pretend I suck.
mindful that there's a thing
Let's
called
pretend I'm
survivorship.
horrible.
Are you sucking?
I want you to hold your own keys, and I want you to buy bottoms instead of tops, and I want you to not have counterparty risk, and I want you to take free coins when they're available. As a Bitcoin holder, you got Bitcoin Cash for free, you got XLM for free, you got XRP for free, you got Byteball for free, you got Hex for free. I want you to take free money. I want you to hold your own keys. I want you to see mad gains. I want you to stop enriching scumbags. That's all I want. And if you have it, and if the only way I can get people to pay attention to me is to act like a jerk off, I'll do it. But in the end, I care about your best interest. I'm trying to save your life.
Peter,
Really?
go ahead.
That sounds like Sam Bankman-Fried. I think, you know, he was trying to make as much money so that he could give as much away and
Yeah,
save
but
as
he
many
funded
people.
the Republican Party that tried to double our capital gains tax from 20 to 40%. Does that sound good to
really,
you?
Is
Hey,
your mission
guys,
really
can
to help
I
as many
jump
people
in
as
for a
possible?
moment here, because I think we're losing track. You know, I have to say, in defense of Richard, he is an excellent self-promoter. You know, he has a great sense of humor. He is a very good speaker. Like, we got to give him some respect, right? Not everyone agrees with him. That's okay. But that we have Martin Shkreli criticizing Richard for his attitude, that's the funniest thing here right now. You know, like, everyone needs to chill. We're talking about FTX. Richard made some really good points about, you know, the predictions that he made and how people have lost a lot of money and how everyone should have their own keys, you know, and have their own crypto and not trust third parties with that. I think, you know, he makes some good points. So let's just all chill out. And now,
FTX was going to get
wait,
liquidated.
wait. And now let's listen to Peter Schiff as well. Let's fucking blow this room up.
Go, Peter, go.
Well, he's not here, is he? I'm.
I've sent him the invite again, so we'll see if he comes up.
So
Peter?
my point is quite simply, everyone that trades in crypto loses all their money, and it doesn't matter how many billions you're playing with. As a matter of fact, the more billions you have, the harder it is because you eat slippage. Michael Saylor is an idiot, okay? Michael Saylor liked to pay higher prices instead of lower prices. Michael Saylor liked to market buy on Coinbase instead of spreading his order like any intelligent person would across multiple exchanges. In an Ethereum ecosystem, which is vastly superior, we have automated systems that do this, such as Matcha.xyz and OneInch.io, which unfortunately is unavailable to United States citizens. But Matcha.xyz, I think, works for US guys. So in Ethereum, we already can spread our orders across multiple order books and get reduced slippage. We can already choose a slippage limit so that no one front runs us or flash bots us and give us a really bad execution. We already have the most on-chain trading volume of any exchange. There was more Ethereum USD traded on Uniswap yesterday than there was on any other exchange in the ecosystem. There's no counterparty risk. It's amazing. DeFi is the future. You don't have to worry about anyone running away with your money. You don't have to worry about proof of keys because every transaction is its own proof. Decentralized finance is the only solution to middlemen stealing everyone's money. And decentralized finance is not available to non-smart contract enabled chains. You will have to encumber yourself with screwy counterparties that will steal all your money. Let me give you an example. Solana used to have wrapped Bitcoin on the Solana network. And guess who wrapped the Bitcoin for them? Ding, ding, ding. It was FTX. And guess what? All the wrapped Bitcoin on the Solana network that FTX wrapped, it ain't unwrappable now. So you had hidden counterparty risk that people don't know about, that I'm one of the only people in the world to tell you the real risk of it. I'm the guy that tells you crypto drops 85% every 3 years. I'm the guy that tells you those wrapped coins you got, you might not be able to unwrap them. And even if you get and die, you're still at risk if USDC and USDT use their admin keys to invalidate everything because they can at will. As a matter of fact, they've been invalidating some of FTX's transfers. You can go look at the coins that they've invalidated. So long story short, I want you to take control of your own keys. I want you to see mad gains. I want to see less scams. I want to see less middlemen. And everyone that's in this space that has a YouTube channel, you want to know where they make all their money? They make it on referral fees. And who are the only people paying referral fees? Counterparties. Margin trading. And what's the most dangerous thing for any user? Margin trading. It's so dangerous, it's caused most of the liquidations. FTX would be wildly profitable and wildly influential, except they just had to FOMO the top. Michael Saylor liked to pay more instead of less because he thought he was getting richer. Every time he bought the price up higher, he'd go, oh my God, look, the price went up. I'm so much richer. Now all my old coins I bought are worth so much more. But what he isn't smart enough to understand is that what you actually have to look at is how much you're going to eat slippage in the other direction. Oh, you drove the price up against yourself on the way up. Guess what, buddy? You're going to drive the price down against yourself on the way out, and your actual exit price has to account for that slippage. And so now Michael Saylor, he looks like he's down $2 billion. But pro tip, if he actually tried to sell the money that he bought, he'd be down way more than $2 billion because he's going to eat the negative slippage on the other side. He's an idiot. He bought the top on leverage.
What's really interesting about Michael Saylor, I don't know if you guys remember this, but he's done YouTube videos where he's telling people, take a mortgage on your house and put the money in Bitcoin. Can you imagine how many fucking people that guy has ruined with his advice and his videos? Look at him now.
He said Bitcoin was going to fail like online gaming in 2013, and he didn't even delete that tweet. I had a huge bag of Bitcoin in 2013. He was wrong then. He didn't want to buy it when it was 1,300, but he loves to buy it at 10,000. It drives me crazy that every single day, bankrupt guys that not only lost all their money, but everyone else that would listen to them's money have million followers. And I, the guy that gets it all the time, 250K. It's like, what is this upside down world crap? Do people hate money?
At least you have a check mark now, bro.
It might have something to do with your personality.
Is that the $8 version?
Nah, unfortunately, I got the suck D's for blue check, the non-$8 one.
I just want to pipe up and say, for those people who are new to the space and who just got onto FTX and whatever and are trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong, but just don't like being yelled at, like, in my view, Richard is absolutely right. He may not be so soft with his messaging, but yeah, there's no substitute for being in charge of your own assets. So if you're trying to sort out what to do next and you're brand new and you're like, who is this lunatic screaming at me? There's actually some good content in what he's saying, and nobody can ever take your coins away from you if you keep it on cold storage. And nobody can take your money away from you if you stop doing high leverage trading. Everybody knows that retail gets rinsed on trading because it's hard and people can build out algorithms to play against you.
So, and the guys with the algorithms get rinsed too. They had every advantage. They had their own crap coin. They had their own front running team in-house. They had their own exchange. They had their own fiat on-ramps, and they still got wrecked margin trading because margin trading is death. And if you ever short, it's super omega death. People don't understand how bad shorting is. I'm going to give you the quick, short version of it. Well, after I plug DeFi. DeFi and EVM chains stop you from having to suckle middleman D to get out of risk. You can get into a stablecoin like DAI, which is the least risk you can get. It's still risky because USDC and USDT, but in order for USDT and USDT to screw DAI, they really have to like lock all the coins because they're like commingled, and it's kind of, no one would ever buy USDC and USDT again if they did that. So it's kind of existential risk for their business model, so they're unlikely to do it. So like EVM chains, vastly superior to non-EVM chains because you can de-risk and trade without counterparty risk and without middleman D. It's beautiful and it's amazing and everything's already proof of reserved. Unless you have fake DeFi, which has admin keys, and there's a lot of that. Unless you have fake DeFi, which doesn't use time-weighted average price and gets liquidated in flash bot attacks. Some of this is a little too advanced for the new guys. So what was I going to say before I was plugging DeFi? What was the other thing?
Margin and...
Yeah, margin. There was another thing too.
Something
getting wrecked. Oh, shorting.
Listen, and you
let's say
right, and how everybody
dude,
else is stupid.
Please don't make me measure up. Please. I suck, okay? I know how much I suck. Fat, old, I get it. I even got gray hair now. I suck. So, margin trading. Every single finance firm that's in existence that's still alive is long. The short ones are all dead. You get liquidated shorting a Ponzi. You shorted Luna, it went down 90% 3 times in 2 weeks. You still got liquidated on Scamwix. Oops. You short Herbalife. That dude, Bill Ackman, lost $2 billion or $1 billion shorting Herbalife. Lol. And what's Herbalife? Maximum middlemen. What's the maximum middlemen we can put between product and user? Totally inefficient business model. And the guy that shorted it got totally liquidated. Now let's talk about the long guys. So let's say you bought Bitcoin at $1. You rode it up to 70K. You made 70,000x. It's not bad. Now, let's say you took the other side of the same move. You shorted Bitcoin at 70K. It went to 0, which it didn't, but let's pretend it did. It went to 0. How many X did you make? You made 1X. Now, wait a second, Richard, are you sure on this math? Yeah, I'm real sure on the math. Let's go through it again so that you know the difference between longing and shorting, because a lot of these guys that get liquidated in crypto got liquidated while being short. Buy Bitcoin at $1, goes up to 70X, $70,000. You made 70,000 times your money. Your $1 turned into $70,000. You go short. You short one Bitcoin at 70K. It costs you the same Actually, it costs you $70,000. To long it cost $1. To short one Bitcoin cost 70K. It goes to zero. You only made 1x. You made 70K. So you literally made 70,000 times more money being long than being short. Because for the same $70,000 of risk, you could have longed 70,000 Bitcoin at $1. But if you're short, that same 70 grand only shorts one Bitcoin and it goes to zero. You only made a 1x. So people that short crypto to me, it's hilarious because you're not going to make any money and you're going to get entirely liquidated. And that's the same thing with trading crypto to crypto pairs. Look, Bitcoin, like the COVID dip took Ethereum from 88 to 5,000. That's like what, 60? Go ahead.
You keep mentioning DeFi, man, and there's a shitload of scam DeFi, right? So
yeah, mostly.
No, exactly, man. So I think it's probably helpful, and I know this, and you know this, like to explain some DeFi that makes sense, because a lot of people that are new get wrecked the most in DeFi. It's not just the
Uniswap. Uniswap.
Yeah. So I think that's helpful to qualify it for everyone, man, because it's easy to just throw DeFi around because the whole space does it, and then people get wrecked every day because of that word.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
I almost hate the word DeFi. You know.
Hey, look, I agree with you. I agree with you. You guys remember who made Uniswap popular? Remember who advertised it more than Hayden Adams, the founder? Remember whose coin had the majority of liquidity and trades on it for like 6 months?
I have a guess. I have a guess. Hold on. I have a guess. Hold on. I think it's Richard. No, you're gonna say it's you. Okay, bro. I'll let Tara go if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead,
Richard. Go ahead, Tara. I saw you on mute.
Oh, I had requested a little bit ago before, the whole measuring contest began. So I'm just sitting here having a nice laugh.
Sure. Well, I'll
give you, get your ruler.
I'll give you the mic. I'll give you the mic afterwards.
Richard,
But
I don't want to put you in your place. I'm just playing.
I want to mention something. Simon, do you wanna, Simon, I know you tried to mention this earlier. Richard didn't get a chance. Richard, I think you'll agree with this one with Simon. You guys tend to agree more than you think.
Simon makes money on people that take your keys away from you. I still like him. He's a nice guy. But he makes money on people taking your keys from you. I don't want you to ever give your keys to anybody.
Simon, did you want to bring up the Celsius and the people that were hurt? I know you were mentioning it earlier. I'd love to give you the mic again to mention that again.
No, yeah, I just want to say, Richard, like it's I understand, you have a different way of coming about things, and there are some pearls and wisdom amongst all the dick measuring and bragging and things and selecting the things that you did say, but there are some things you do get wrong, and you never talk about those. But
well, just tell me what they are and apologize.
Well, I think if we got Peter Schiff up and you did a 1-year chart of gold versus Hex when you told everyone to buy Hex, you probably find that Peter Schiff was right over the last year.
So we're going to do that for Amazon too and Facebook too, right? And we'll pretend they're bad assets.
But
we're going to pretend everything down this year is a bad asset, right? So then the whole global, everything's just bad assets because everything's down this year, right?
Yeah. But what I wanted to say is that I have recently just been given some messages, and I sent Mario a video on like some story around people that have actually taken their life because of these things, and there are a lot of people that are on the verge and on the edge, and
guys, we're gonna have a bull run soon. Just stick in the game for a while, man. There's no reason to kill yourself. You're going to be able to get really rich in the next bull run. Just hang out for a while.
Sure. This is
tough love
way too serious.
No, tough love does help for some people, but I know it's way too serious. But I got hundreds and hundreds of messages from people that appreciated that message and really needed it at that time because they were feeling really, really shitty.
I have a question, man, because I'm not a Hex dude at all. Me and Richard actually has me my ass blocked. So here's the thing: my question is, the advice you give to people, does it get people wrecked? Like when you keep talking about all the advice you give, and I followed you for a long time, but a lot of the advice you give, man, I'm just being honest, is not helpful for the average person.
You talking about me, Richard? You talking about me,
Simon?
My advice, diversification, dollar cost averaging.
I'm talking about the way
preparing for different outcomes. Yeah, I mean, it may not perform as well as a pump and dump.
The Celsius group and all the Celsius conversations it just blows my mind, man. The amount of knowledge that was given to people that was incorrect across the space, and then now it's like we got all these self-help groups And it's like this is not new information. This has been going on for a long time, man. Like this is not the first. I think the first exchange I got wrecked on was Cryptopia. You know, like Celsius isn't new. FTX is not new. None of these blowups are new. Like
here's the sad part, bro. Crypto's
what
doing
advice
fine.
are you referring to? Like, I don't think anyone on this stage says that you should store your money on an exchange. Everyone's been, you know, that's everyone says that on this stage.
What I'm saying is it's better to talk to people about that are new to retail about the right way to use crypto, man. And like it seems like every time the crypto blows up, it just becomes a self-help group. Like if we're ever going to get past this bullshit, we need to focus on the real thing, which is educating people on how to actually use the products.
Absolutely.
And it just keeps happening over and over again where there's a blow up and then we go into self-help mode. And then we just kick, 70% of the community leaves crypto and disappears. And then we try to bring new people in with new bullshit.
All of us try to get people to use cold storage, and all of us say that that's the right way to get it.
I just hate hearing like every time this self-help. Like,
if you promote margin trading, you're a piece of shit, and it's really that simple.
I don't promote margin trading.
I'm not trying to attack you, bro. I'm just saying, most of this space does, man. Like,
okay, cool. A lot of this space promotes margin trading. A lot of this space promotes centralized services. A lot of this space invests and uses their money to invest in centralized products and services and sucks in new users and gets user base based on these investments.
Bro, FTX sponsored e-gaming. Who watches e-gaming? Kids. And what are they trying to do? Get kids to margin trade. The most likely thing to kill you in your 20s is yourself. Imagine you add margin trading to that risk. It's absolutely disgusting. And no one speaks out about it. Like I do, but like almost no one else. Because that's how they get paid. It's a tragedy of the commons that the only way to make money in crypto is either to have a paid group and lie to people and say you're profitable and scam them, or to have referral links to things that feed people to the meat grinder. And there's really like very few other ways.
My biggest thing that bothers me is it's the VCs and the same people reinvesting in services that they call DeFi that aren't fucking DeFi, and they're behind all the investments, and then they pump up this fake DeFi which isn't real. And then they pretend like it's all like been some really amazing product. Then it dumps, or rugs or something else. And then magically it's like, oh, let's go into let's have our self-help group and talk about people committing suicide. Yeah, no shit. People kill themselves with bad investments every day. But the problem is at the front end. It's not at the back end. It's all of the people that don't disclose all of the bullshit they sell in the beginning.
I'll tell you what, man.
And that's totally true. I mean, like, if you looked at Alameda's portfolio, and I looked at it and I said, why haven't I not invested in any of the DeFi protocols? And it's 100%. All those protocols that Alameda invested in was fake DeFi. It was as simple as that. They were bullshit projects that did nothing, but pretty much still uses funds. Maybe there were one or two that did something. But most of them were fake DeFi projects that were promoting themselves as real DeFi projects. If you look at real DeFi projects like Uniswap, as an example, you don't see them getting an Alameda, VC investment.
So I'll just tell you guys really quick what real DeFi is. It's really extremely short. There's no admin keys, which means the contract is permanent. You can't change anything. When you wanted to upgrade from Uniswap V1 to V2, you needed to move your liquidity. They didn't have an admin key to do it for you. When you wanted to upgrade from V2 to V3, you needed to move your liquidity. There was no admin key to do it for you, which decentralized the security. It made it so that no individual could have pointed everyone's liquidity at some evil thing. That's a better design process. In Hex, we don't ever ask for permission for anything. So a lot of these contracts, including Uniswap, get you to approve the contract spending all your money. And if there's a proxy hidden in the contract...
Honestly, Richard, I understand you want to promote Hex, but
No, I'm not. I'm telling you about...
This is not the time to use...
I'm not promoting Hex. I'm telling you about superior, trustless, risk-free design processes.
But Richard, we've
telling
heard
you
this so many times.
You're not... No. I understand more about smart contracts than you, and I'm telling you something important. You're not listening. You're not listening.
I'll let you finish that point, Richard.
You guys are
I'm
getting lost
telling
in
you
the
that it's
conversation.
dangerous to approve a contract to spend all your money because they can upgrade the contract with a proxy, but you're not listening.
Yeah,
I'm telling you how to do DeFi safer.
who gives a
Make
shit
sure
about
you
Guys,
revoke.
let me give Mary. Mary's been the only one putting her hand up and waiting. Mary, appreciate your patience. The mic is yours.
Hey, thanks so much for letting me speak. And yeah, I had my hand up for quite some time. Yeah, there's a lot of measuring going on here, and I just wanted to say this. You know, everybody has a different delivery. Richard, I had not heard about you. You know who you were before, and you know, I may not be a fan of your delivery while people are hurting after having lost their life savings, Richard. And I actually have been in a space where I heard someone who wanted to take their life, and we literally saved them. So I can appreciate where you're coming from, right? But I'm smart enough to recognize that what you're saying is really good advice for people in this space. And I'm learning every single day, and I'm looking for people, you know, and I think a lot of people that are in this room are listening because they're learning. And this is a great panel that's up here. Mario, I applaud you, Kim, for putting this together because we're all learning in this space.
You know,
So,
Mary,
you know,
that's exactly why I invited Richard here. You
yep.
can think whatever you want about him. You know, he's flashy, he's loud, but he's told people for years, don't put your money in exchanges. And if people would have listened to him, they wouldn't now have to deal with this drama.
And it's
right?
more than exchanges, guys. We lost billions of dollars to bridges as well because bridges are obfuscated counterparty risk. And we'll,
Guys, I've got a nice topic. I'm gonna mention something that someone tweeted. I'm going through the comments from the audience. Can we please talk about how useless crypto auditing companies are with such big damage? How the fuck they didn't notice the big hole? Why are they called auditors for? Who can retail trust? So, and we brought that up, Chet, you brought that up as well, that the same auditors that work with FTX also work with other exchanges that we mentioned yesterday. Maybe that's a good, we could bring up the systematic risk.
Hey, Mario, if I can finish my thought on
just
Richard.
a second, please. Yeah. That's what I just wanted to say, Mary. I interrupted you. I'm sorry, and now it's back to you.
No. I totally appreciate that, and thank you so much for letting me speak up here again. And again, Richard, you know, I really, again, your delivery is a little off, but I followed you now because what you're saying makes so much sense. You know, so those things that you were saying is, one, don't short crypto. Two, don't put money on exchanges. Three, learn how to self-custody your coins. I think we all agree on that. And four, never use margin or leverage to trade. So I think you sound amazing, and you're smart and are very intelligent. And I just wish you could work on your delivery a little bit, as I do think there are a lot of people that could benefit from the truth that you're speaking out there. It's just your delivery is just kind of harsh a little bit, but I did follow you, and I am going to listen to you because I like hearing people that have different opinions on things. That's how we all learn. So I do appreciate you, but there are people that are hurting out there, Richard. So I did follow you.
Just on the crypto auditing. So this, I'm not going to mention the name, but it is the top crypto auditor in the space, and a project I was helping build for them got audited by them. I said, let me check the code. I checked the code, found a bug in the code, and if they didn't pick up this bug that was in the code, and it was a simple fact that basically a hacker could come in and make fundamental changes to the code, effectively using balance changes, which the auditors didn't pick up. And luckily, I managed to pick up, and this is not the only instance of this happening where auditors haven't picked something up and something's been hacked. And I can attest to the fact that, crypto auditors charge lucrative fees and don't give you the necessarily value add you get. Why do we need crypto auditors? You don't see like a lot of these big DeFi, the real DeFi protocols getting audited. And the reason being is because they're proper DeFi. They don't need ridiculous SEX listings. SEX would end up listening because they have a great product. A lot of these, centralized exchanges need an audit to satisfy their requirements, which a lot of the time is just rubbish. And kind of lastly, Richard, on a lighter note, I'm not sure if you saw the video of the dev where he says how much you actually suck. I think it's quite lighthearted.
I don't think
I think I suck a lot.
About the exchange or about auditing. I think auditing does its purpose and its intention at the front end, right? The issue where all these fucking companies keep getting screwed over is when they start working on bridging their assets over to other chains as well as to other EVM like all the rugs and all the crazy shit that's happening, in my opinion, is not an audit problem. It's a bridging problem. Like they're easy to exploit and nobody solved that yet. I think bridges, at least on the DeFi side, is where everyone keeps getting fucked.
So the way to reduce your bridge risk is the same way that you should be reducing your transactional risk. And I've never heard anyone else talk about it, but it's such the easiest thing ever. So let's say you want to trade with someone that you don't trust. What you do is you just trade a little bit, and then a little bit, and then a little bit, and then a little bit. And they can only screw you for the last trade. So if, for instance, you want a fiat on-ramp to crypto, you send a little bit to the exchange. You take your crypto out. You send a little bit more. You take your crypto out. You send a little bit more. You take your crypto out. They can only screw you for the last cent. And the same way works with selling. You want to sell your crypto? Send them a little bit, sell it. Send them a little bit, sell it. You might 10x your transaction fees, but you also 10x less your risk. That's a really good deal.
Because a lot of the people, like the last guy's comment, they'll be like, oh, well, they're audited by CertTech or whatever, right? Okay, cool. That doesn't mean that's just like a basic. Like,
I think every scam has been audited by CertTech, though.
No, but I'm saying that's like a baseline. I'd say that's a baseline. That's like jumpstart, like starting the car, man. Like that's not driving the car. You know, like you can't blame the auditing process. That's just like step one. You know.
People, hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Oh, it doesn't say that it shows. But anyway, the thing is, people don't even read the audits. So a lot of time, the audit when you.
Someone's calling you, I think, Richard, so it keeps dropping out. He's got to hang up on them. Can you hear me?
I was going to say, so if your audit, I hear you now. The audit will say this contract sucks because a proxy can change all the code, and then people don't read the audit. Or it'll say that, you know, it can infinitely mint if an admin wants it to, and people just don't read the audit. Having an audit isn't the same as reading the results of the audit and seeing if the team actually fixed the stuff. So just there's no such thing as, quote, an audit. You actually have to read the results.
Piotr, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Richard, I've got a question for you. But first, seriously, man, like, I get it. You've succeeded a lot. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. But as my father says, you know, it's trying to measure whose arse is wider. It's a completely pointless competition, and you undermine your own argument by the delivery. So I really encourage you to say what you're saying. I'm a novice in this space, and I've been listening and appreciate what you're saying. But you really do alienate, I think, a lot of people through your delivery. So I highly ask if you can just be slightly little bit more aware of the people who have taken their lives, including a couple of people I know personally, have been on the very verge of that. So without being too heavy-handed, my question is just, you know, you're bringing in a lot of very useful information, a lot of very timely stuff for a lot of listeners who are in very vulnerable positions. You know, I want to hear your perspective on the regulation front and where we go from here. What's next steps? How do we, apart from better decisions and holding those who are perpetrators accountable, what do you think about the future of the space more broadly?
Deregulation is the answer. The reason that you've never had less choice in banking, you've never had less choice in exchanges, you've never had less choice in insurance, you've never had less choice in cable companies, you have less choice everywhere you look because the government is doing a bad job. The government is supposed to allow capitalism to function by allowing competition. And you allow competition to function by having a free market. And people don't understand what free market means. Free market means regulated market. And what it means is foster competition. So we used to have one telephone company in the United States called Ma Bell. And the government said, you know what? It'd be better if we had multiple telephone companies competing with each other, adding on value, and then the customers choosing who won. And that's what they did. They broke Ma Bell up into many parts. And the same thing happened with digital subscriber lines, DSL, when the internet first came to people's homes. That's how it got to your house. It's called DSL, digital subscriber line. They gave a centralized service of the base layer of internet connection, and then people would add stuff on it. Oh, you can get news groups. Oh, you can get chat rooms. And then they had a baseline, and then they did value add on top of it. That's how you create competition. That's how you create excellence. That's how you let capitalism function. And in cryptocurrency, we don't have that. If you're an American citizen, you're persona non grata everywhere. You're a piece of crap. No one likes you. No one wants to work with you. You're banned from airdrops. You're banned from ICOs. You're banned from exchanges. And why? Because the United States government has done a terrible job protecting its citizens' rights. It's done a terrible job protecting your right to prosper and pursue happiness. It's robbed you of your freedom.
Richard, to follow up on his question, I want to ask you. So regulation, I'm an American too, dude. Regulation's coming. I don't care what anybody says. And so when it does, Ethereum and all the stuff that falls underneath it, anything EVM compatible, all this great stuff is going to get regulated. And I don't think it's a positive. So how do you think the U.S. stays competitive when it happens? Because I believe it's coming, like no matter what anyone thinks.
I mean, look, Joe Biden himself said, hey, I hate referring to Joe Biden as himself. He's an 80-year-old dude that can't drive or barely walk. But hey, he's in charge, I guess. I wouldn't let him drive my Ferrari. Let's put it that way. He says that blockchain is important and that the governmental agencies underneath him should report to him on what type of regulation would foster growth in the space. So his public position is that blockchain is good and that America should lead it. And if that is his actual position, and the people listening to him follow his orders, then we should see regulation that causes competition, regulation that lets other exchanges be an exchange business, that lets people have their anonymity and their privacy because it's a human right. You cannot have capitalism without mixing and anonymity, period. You can't pay your employees without them seeing your wallet and seeing how much all the other employees are getting paid. You can't have wholesalers knowing what all the other wholesalers are getting paid. You can't have your customer base get leaked because everyone can see who's paying you. None of these things are okay in a capitalist system. They break competition. And so we need anonymity and we need mixing and we need privacy.
But it's not going to happen, Richard. I think when regulation comes, it's going to look like Coinbase. The U.S. government knows every transaction and every trade and every single person that uses Coinbase's information, and they have 100%. There's no anonymity, and there's 100% oversight of anybody that touches Coinbase. So when regulation comes, when securities are out there, like if Hex, for example, starts, is used throughout the U.S. and it's becomes a security, right? Every single.
But that's not what makes it a security. Adoption doesn't equal security.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying that.
I'm just saying adoption isn't so I'll tell you what a security is. The Howey test states that a security is when you put money into a common pool with the expectation of profit solely from the work of others. And that word solely means a lot. Are you doing a job? Are you minting your own coins? Are you performing your own computation? Are you doing your own work?
Proof of stake.
That's not a security.
Is proof of stake a security?
Are you doing the work? Are they your keys? Is it your computer? Are you an
Again, this is the government that's going to decide. I'm not going to decide.
But I can decide. I know how to read. I gave you the rules very clearly.
I have a different opinion as the government, but the government can decide whatever the heck they want, man. They can put.
But they can't. Look, man. Someone has to put up the fight, and I think the guys that are registered in the United States, like Coinbase, is kind of doing what they should do, taking their giant stack of money, they don't know what else to do with it anyway, and putting it into the lobbying that might save their own business model from going bankrupt.
Well, there's a reason Binance is not there, right? There's a reason why Coinbase is there. Coinbase is there because they do whatever the government tells them to do.
Hey, but Kraken allows you, look, Coinbase will cancel you if you use a mixer. Kraken won't. That's a big difference. And they're both regulated into oblivion, and they both have the same licenses.
Guys, do you mind? I know Pietro and actually agents. You guys
You're
have your
telling
hand
me
up.
Kraken allows mixers.
I wanna go back to the discussion. A lot of people are asking
accurate,
on your.
I don't know enough about Kraken.
Oh, he can't hear
They
me.
carry Monero for a reason, bro. Coinbase don't.
Can anyone hear me? Kim, chat.
I can hear you.
I can hear you, Mario.
Oh, okay, go. All right, cool. All right, guys. So just want to bring back the topic. This gentleman there can't hear me. I've just muted you. A lot of people are asking about FTX. So
the argument that the guy was asking you before, Richard, was simply.
I've just removed the gentleman now, not because he's being rude. He just can't hear me. Glitched for him. So if the team can send him an invite, that'll be great. But Richard, the FTX downfall, the dominoes falling. We did a space on Crypto.com and other exchanges yesterday. We had CZ come in. We had Mexi come in, we had Kraken come in, we had the Canadian one, a whole bunch of exchanges come. Now, I understand your point about having your funds in a cold storage wallet, but most people are still not going down that path. We saw Binance have an influx of net inflows in the 7 days throughout FTX, while most other exchanges had net outflows. How deep do you think the issue is? You know, we had 3 Hours Capital comment on the matter. We've had a lot of insiders come in, and it seems to all be intertwined. I'll tell you 2 findings. One of them is Alameda, and I've had 2 projects confirm this. Alameda invests in a project, asks them or forces them or tells them to have the project to leave those funds on FTX, the exchange, and then FTX then sends those funds back to Alameda that invest them again into another project. So it becomes that, you know, pyramid scheme, circle jerk between Alameda and FTX. That's number one. And number 2, we were the first ones to break the story. An executive of another exchange came on stage, the first space we did on the matter, and before being pressured heavily, she revealed that, and it was confirmed today. Sam led to the Luna crash, and then 3 Hours Capital were fucked by Sam. They confirmed it today, so now I'm not going to say it's a rumor. And CZ knew about this. CZ knew about some of the shenanigans that Sam is doing, warned him. Sam didn't listen, and eventually CZ made the tweet that led to where we are today. So there's just all these stories happening behind the scenes, and I'm only stating some of them and the ones we were able to confirm. How deep is this issue? How many more dominoes could fall, and how much worse could things get before they finally get better?
I mean, the funny thing to me is that everyone's crying and moaning when the price is way higher than it was like a few weeks ago. Like Ethereum was $880 like what, 6 weeks ago, and now people are crying when it's 50% higher. You guys don't know what max pain is. I assure you, max pain ain't $1,200. I think it's like you get like, you know, Ethereum's 50% higher than it was not so long ago. You know, for all these people talking about max pain and killing them stuff and all that, like, guys, look at the charts. You're on a nice bounce right now. Wait till you start making lower lows. Like when I said 11K and pray, the real call is 10,350, and I'm just waiting for people to front run me. 85% off of $69,000 is $10,350. Maybe it's 10,650, but I think it's 10,350. And so like we're right now at like 16, 17, something like that. So you still have another third to lose to hit the normal drops 85% every 3 years target, or every 4 years. So like this is absolutely standard fare for crypto. This same stuff happens every single cycle, but people think it's new. Nope, I've been here since 2011. I've seen this exact same game show play out time and time and time again, which is why I was able to call the top on the day.
But not to this level. Not to this level. I think now.
No, but this level, we didn't even drop 85% yet. Like we didn't even do a big drop yet.
Not in terms of price action. In terms of how fucked up we got things. To what level we fucked things up. Because now we've got regulators looking at the matter.
The point here is, it doesn't matter how much more crypto drops, because of FTX, a lot of people have lost everything. And I agree with Mary that we need to be a little bit more considerate for the people that are in this room listening that have lost everything. So let's just chill a little bit. Here's what Here's what I would like to do. You are a very smart guy. Regulation is coming. We have people in the room that are regulators that are listening to us and following this whole thing. If you had to pick 3 regulations to make exchanges safe for users, what would they be?
Make people custody their own funds. It's the only reason why crypto exists. The only second reason why it exists is censorship resistance.
What about onboarding and offboarding though?
Limit the amount, make them stagger their orders. Don't let them stick their whole stack in at once.
It's not very free market, what you want to...
No, but like, look, man, getting regulations in general so this is what I was saying earlier. People get it backwards. Free market means regulated market. An actual free market consists of people shooting their competitors. An actual free market was U.S. Steel controlling all the steel and the railroads that shipped it. Actual free markets are the opposite of free markets. They're very unfree. So like even in...
So Richard, go back to Kim's question. So we know that onboarding and offboarding has to exist. So the answer is you have to have centralized. So what would be the top 3 regulations?
No,
the first
no,
one
hold on.
Was,
no. There is a solution here that I'm the only guy that's talking about it. Let you buy crypto from your neighbor without your neighbor worrying about going to prison for being an unlicensed money transmitter. Decentralize the on-ramps, decentralize the off-ramps. When someone has a used t-shirt, they don't have a problem selling it on eBay. They don't have a problem selling it to the used clothes store. They don't have a problem selling it on StockX or all these other websites. But with crypto, everyone's terrified of going to prison for unlicensed money transmission. I believe that if a friend of yours gives you $100 and wants 520s, you should be able to do that. And I believe if a friend of yours has $100 and he wants 5 of a different currency and you happen to have it, you should be able to hand it to him without worrying about going to prison.
So bring back local Bitcoins, but
yes,
they're going to say, okay, we'll do a limit on the amount, or are you saying unlimited?
It's better than nothing, bro. Because look,
okay, so if I want to buy $1 million of Bitcoin from a bank account, let's talk about that scenario.
I think you should be able to do it. I think that fake law enforcement is adding more hay and hoping that they can find needles in haystacks. Having everything get a suspicious activity report, a CSAR, is not helping law enforcement do their job properly. Searching people at the airport, when they actually test it and see whether bad stuff gets through, the bad stuff always gets through.
So your advice is firstly, allow for peer-to-peer, secondly, undo AML laws, and thirdly, stop caring about tax collection because they want the data.
No, you're still going to get tax collection because you see what people bought with it. So anytime someone tries to cheat on taxes, you just look at the stuff they have and you go, hey, the stuff you have doesn't equal the tax you paid. So we're going to bust you now.
My feedback on that is you're probably fighting a trend you're going to lose. So it might be worth focusing on something else.
No, but like we have jurisdictional arbitrage, right? Like you can drive across the border to Mexico and do stuff, or you can set up a company in another jurisdiction and have your company do it. You know, a lot. This idea
these are all ways around. Like if we're talking about your average American that wants to put $1 million into Bitcoin, they've got dollars, they're onboarding for the first time. And so centralized
the average American doesn't have $1 million.
Yeah, sure.
Right. But it's just like you have to realize that AML KYC is security theater and all the criminals get their money washed just fine. And the only people that are actually harmed are the honest guys. It's security theater. It's law enforcement theater. We need more investigators. We need more judges issuing injunctions. Those are things that actually get stuff done.
Let's go to DeFi then. So Richard, like if somebody creates a token and they follow all your like there's no admin keys and stuff like that, but they end up with a bunch of the supply and they go on a YouTube video and tell everyone to buy it and they're dumping it at the same time. Like what type of things do you think should be done about this? Just crowdsourced?
I think you just described like almost every altcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single altcoin has extremely highly centralized ownership.
Yeah, but do you think
even
like
Bitcoin
some element of do you think we should just leave all that in the unregulated sphere, or do you think some
100%? Caveat emptor. Like you have to understand, you cannot live in a world that is free, and then when you centralize control, it gets worse and worse and worse until you have a revolution. Every single law in the United States that has a fixed dollar amount is going to crush and kill you. Let me give you an example. You can only travel across the border with $10,000. That was made in the 1970s. $10,000 now is 3 or 4 times less powerful than it was in the 1970s. So in effect, you are now restricted 3 or 4 times more because it was a poorly written law that didn't adjust for consumer price index increases and inflation.
What about free market solutions then?
What I'm saying is that these laws have to be changed because eventually you won't be able to travel with a cheeseburger worth of money across the border because fiat currency is going to zero, bro. And so the law has to be changed. It has to be upgraded. If you're going to have a 4th Amendment that says you have a right against unreasonable search and seizure, guess what, bro? You don't get to unreasonably search and seize all of your citizen stuff. Civil forfeiture needs to go bye-bye. Like, there's a lot of clawing back of human rights that needs to happen. They used to not be able to read your mail. It was illegal. It was a federal crime to read people's mail. Now we use email. So guess what? Everyone can read it and does. You lost your rights when we went from analog to digital and just no one was paying attention, and it's not okay. And if you don't fix it on your own, eventually it's going to go so bad you have a revolution and a lot of people die.
Well, the Fourth Amendment died with the Patriot Act. So once that came,
I know you want to be pragmatist and like pretend you can't fix these things, but they are fixable actually.
No, I mean,
You just
I don't live in America for these reasons, but you know, but also the Constitution said that money has to be backed by gold. You know, these.
The U.S. government and international central banks have already decided CBDCs are going to do everything you said, Richard. Only the opposite. It's going to be worse.
Yeah.
It's going to be worse than it is.
So what we're saying, Richard, is like I think
CBDCs are worse than anything. CBDCs are far worse.
It's going to be worse than said.
Yeah, we're trying to go beyond the philosophical debate because, like, a lot of us come from.
I will give you pragmatic.
That's real.
I will give you pragmatic stuff you could do.
Yeah.
Let banks sell crypto, and just treat it like money. And then the same bank that you go to put your stupid savings account, your stupid checking account, you can buy your stupid crypto. And they already did that. They already passed that law. I don't understand this like the world is ending, everything sucks, everything's horrible. We did make some progress there.
Do you want to know what stopped that one? Basel regulations state that as you have more assets on your liabilities, you have to go through additional stress tests and have more deposits. And so if you custody Bitcoin under banking regulations, as the price of Bitcoin goes up, you have to find more deposits in order to meet the Basel requirements and stress requirements.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, can I step
fix
in?
it? Just fix it. Amend it. They're not permanent laws. You can fix them.
Step in here a little bit. I mean, there's
before you do,
things.
Cherry. Before you do, just want to say we're verifying the identity of an insider at Alameda that will be potentially coming in very shortly, verified. So just want to let you all know. Go ahead, Cherry.
Thank you very much. By the way, the comment about going to Mexico. I'm actually Mexican and Belgian, even though I have a stupid French name. But here's the thing. Like, I from a libertarian perspective, I was appointed the managing director of the American Institute for Economic Research, the Bastia Society in Switzerland. So it's basically a libertarian think tank. And the reason why I think Switzerland is doing it the right way is because it's a principled regulation. It doesn't mean that the law is just like set on stone. It's basically, okay, so what are the principles that we're using? And here, I think the principle have to be like free market competition and basically, best practice when it comes to that. So if there was a regulation to put through, I would say, first of all, not have necessarily the bureaucrats decide for it, but the industry decide like what's the best practice and whether or not they accept it or not. And then usually, as we move through what we're seeing now, we will definitely be learning that, we want more transparency, we want more ownership, we want self-custody and things like that,
But we don't want more transparency and everything.
Hold on a minute.
Celsius doxed all their users. Celsius gave away the addresses and names of all of their users and all of their crypto addresses because you use timing analysis.
So that's another thing. And I think it has a lot to do with the US dollar, because when you use the US dollar, you basically depend on the US Treasury. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way the world works, right? Now, the other role I have at the UNITU, which is I'm trying to push for the free market enterprise system perspective on how CBDCs are being built, and I can tell. I mean, I can tell you on the closed doors, the conversation goes as such. I mean, the interoperability, and the big problem here is that every single central bank is doing their own little CBDC, and there's a big issue as to how they can work. And here's the problem. Some of them want more or less what they call programmability, which is basically they can do whatever they want with it. And some of them want more or less privacy, right? And so I personally think nobody wants their product, but ultimately they're the ones who will crack on the people like Tether when even if they were backed one-to-one, they would just come and say, well, we have the FedCoin now and you're illegal because we said so, right? And that's just the way the world works. So, I don't think, if there's any regulator listening here, I would say, don't necessarily regulate for the sake of regulation. I mean, you can do announcements and all that, but I think the best regulator is the free market. As you go through trial and error, usually that's what you get.
Just got some breaking news here from the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve. This is the second Federal Reserve official to come out today to speak about the crypto markets. Federal Reserve Barr says a crypto asset related activity requires effective oversight. That includes safeguards to ensure that crypto companies are subject to similar regulatory safeguards as other financial services providers. Recent events remind us of the potential for systemic risk if interlinkages develop between the crypto system that exists today and the traditional financial system. Yes, okay, and the Fed is, okay, that's what they had. Okay, so that is the end of their statement, Federal Reserve Bar there on the crypto side.
Yeah, guys, I mean, look, at the end of the day, what they're really saying, and I hope that's what they're really saying, is that there is rules already. You just need to apply them and see if they work where in the crypto sphere. I mean, most of the issues we're seeing now, it is already illegal. Like appropriate customers' funds, you don't need to make a new law here. It's already illegal. You know, not segregating the customers' funds from your funds, that's illegal. You don't need to regulate more here. You just need to apply the law. So, you know, the first thing is like, let's not like try to push for somewhat of a regulation just because it sounds nice to say that.
I don't think you know how bad the law sucks, though. Normal banks are fractionally reserved and need insurance to make up for the suck.
You know? Like the minimum you can do is not adding on top of the regulation that there is. I mean,
but there are,
what,
Richard,
in
there
Switzerland, there's a lot of
no, but USDC insurance only covers you up to 300 grand.
No, but you're confusing banking with custody and trust laws. The custody and trust laws would completely prevent you from even, you know, rehypothecating. So all these laws do exist. Securities laws exist.
I like that. And I would agree with you if you called them trust and custody laws and not banking laws. My point is that those laws that you like would protect users, and I probably would support those for crypto exchanges. I think those would be good laws. Stop commingling funds, treat the people's stuff as their actual stuff.
They already exist. It's just exchanges aren't following the laws.
The license.
No, but they're not even registered in the United States. Who gives a shit what the United States law is? They're not even registered in the United States.
Exactly.
Yeah, but those custody laws exist outside the United States, and the United States has the IMF and FATF that enforces all regulations on all other regulators. So these things already exist. It's just
no one will register where they exist. So FTX was in the Bahamas.
They exist everywhere. Like
BitMEX is in Seychelles. Where's Binance? Lol. Nowhere.
I mean, ultimately,
that's not true.
There's always going to be.
Where's Binance? I want to serve them something. Where are they? Give me their address.
Go ahead, Gabriel.
I was saying that the Binance has multiple corporate registrations around the world. Bahrain.
Well, that's funny because we filed a lawsuit against them for us being gate capped at number 201 in CoinMarketCap for 3 fucking years now. No matter what our market cap really is, we're always number 201. Lol. That sounds like a lie and fraudulent to me. And we have a lawsuit against them.
If you look at their terms and conditions, you won't find an address. They do have certain segregated parts, but you know it is incredibly hard to decipher.
Well, I'll give you a concrete example.
And it's even more dangerous when you portray yourself as regulated in one area and then you don't disclose what area that is. And I think like Kim was calling CZ up on some of those things with BUSD and FDIC disclosures and various other things. I think so, Richard. I think what we're saying is that you're giving the argument for what I think. You know, there is going to be onboarding.
There are good laws, and I think custody and trust laws are the best of the bunch as far as helping exchanges stop stealing customers' money.
Yeah, so those regulations all exist, and there's centralized companies. So when the Fed's coming out and saying they need to have a similar standard, they're basically just saying when you're selling securities, comply with securities laws. When you're doing custody and trust, comply with custody and trust laws. If you're doing banking, then comply with banking laws. And if you're doing lending, comply with lending laws. All these laws exist because everything that just happened right now happened in the 1930s. So we've seen everything before, but no one's complying with them. But then there's another part to it, which is very true what Richard is saying, that we need who regulates the regulator. And the answer to that is you have your centralized regulations, which are all needed in an environment where humans can do things off chain. But you also need the check and control upon the abuse of freedoms and privacies and everything that the centralized systems and central bank digital currencies will take away from us, which is why you have to give people voluntary opt-out of the financial system. So you need Bitcoin, you need DeFi, and applying the same rules to those is not going to take us in the right direction. It's going to completely violate the Constitution, and it's going to move America further and further away at a time when it's trying to compete with changing empires from the very same things that made America what it was.
The most decentralized governance and fair governance you can find is the market, period. I mean, there's no other way. And I think we have now increasingly the technology to kind of like decentralize those decision making, like basically asking the cryptosphere, hey, do you think there's something wrong here? Do you think we can like have more transparency? Yes, no. You know, do you think we should segregate the funds and then have them like constantly surveyed so that we can check them and not necessarily just trust your word? Yes, no. You know, so there is mechanisms that will be put in place in the crypto world. What I'm afraid of is that this is actually a better system than what we have now in the traditional system. And if you go on to try to kill that because the bad actors, right, and then you try to go into the traditional system, which is actually worse and even more opaque, then I don't think we're making any progress here. You know.
Yeah, and that's why you need both, because there will be moments when our industry, just like right now, completely fails, and there'll be decentralization failure. There'll be those things, and so if our industry gets too scammy, too crazy, and burns people too much, then there needs to be the opt-out from this shit at the same time. So you need to have the two systems to keep each other honest, because you need more honest fiat currency and you need more honest decentralization. The two need to coexist, because at times you'll get a bit of a pendulum of failures.
I mean, it's creative destruction. Huh? We're not reinventing the world here. Huh? You know, it's Schumpeter creative destruction. So I think it's a healthy thing. Like, you know, the purge is the purge. And we've seen some, and I think this is another one of those. And then, you know, in the end, you know, the purge just lets you know which one of the players are actually acting appropriately, you know, and then you build a track record.
We got a huge framing problem, guys, a huge framing problem, something we could address and actually do easily. Crypto is doing great. Crypto is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Okay, we're back to the price of a few years ago. Fine. So is everything else. Everything else is back to a few years ago price too. Crypto is doing its job amazingly with near 100% uptime in the real cryptos. Mine's up 100% of the time. Ethereum's up nearly 100% of the time because it upgraded the network, and Bitcoin's up about 100% of the time. Normal finance isn't. Crypto did not fail here. What failed is the trashy, garbage, middleman stuff that crypto solves. And it's a huge framing error that everyone has made, making it look like these centralized scumbags opposite of crypto stuff is somehow a failure of crypto. It's not. Crypto is doing its job awesome. Its price are back to a few years ago, and its price is still the best performing asset that's ever existed. Ethereum is still up 300,000%. Bitcoin is still up
crypto, how much
6 million percent.
How much would you say in crypto is actually decentralized?
I think unless you're holding the native token of a chain or something that's extremely well audited, you're very likely to be exposing yourself to admin key risk or centralized counterparty risk. So for instance, if you use something that has a price oracle, some guy runs the oracle server, that ain't real DeFi. If you're using something with an upgradable contract with a proxy, that ain't real DeFi. Anyone can screw it anytime.
And what if you're doing stuff with DAOs? What if you got something decentralized and most of it is staked on an exchange?
It depends on the risk profile of the exchange of what their fear is.
But if everyone puts their Ethereum, or a massive chunk of Ethereum, can't be asked to figure out how to stake, puts it on the exchange, those exchanges are regulated, do you think that's decentralized?
No.
That's a good point.
It's not. It's not decentralized. It's extra
and then
risk.
if someone launched a token on top of that, is that decentralized?
It depends on what the counterplay is once they execute the bad thing. So I invented a term called just-in-time security. And what it means is that if you're like, there's a lot of proof of stake networks that operate with 21 nodes. And then if, doors start getting kicked in, then you can change the number. And you're like, oh,
Guys,
the feds
what
are
the fuck
kicking.
with
Who can change that?
one letter by one letter there?
Well, then you just the same way you upgrade any consensus network, the nodes just vote on it and they just run the new software. So like in Bitcoin, there's a BIP that they used for signaling what parts of a new upgrade they'll accept. So there's a whole system for signaling what upgrades you're okay with in Bitcoin. Ethereum has not a BIP system for it, but the guys that run. So for instance, you're trying to say Ethereum's dangerous, and I'm going to tell you that that's analogous to Bitcoin pools. So in a Bitcoin pool, if they start to be evil and get too much hash rate, you can remove your hash rate from that pool and reintroduce decentralization just in time. It's not ideal, it's not perfect, but just-in-time security works for a lot of things. So for instance, what if the government starts doing SHA-256 mining and 51% attacking blocks are just mining only empty blocks? Then you can do proof of work change just in time. What if everyone sent their coins to Coinbase and Coinbase just starts censoring transactions? Then you fork the network, you remove Coinbase's coins because they were a bad actor, and you go ahead with the fork. These are all socially enforced networks, and any evil that tries to step in is removed by the social aspect.
Do you think Ethereum was more likely to be decentralized under proof of work or proof of stake?
I would say proof of work, but I'm unsure how centralized that actually was. So I mean, it's
so Ethereum has probably gone less decentralized, and it's been a downgrade to the system.
Well, no, it's an upgrade because all people care about is mad gains. And as long as it's centralized enough, and
but you're saying everyone needs to be using their own keys and.
No, but like, dude, if it gets bad, you just fork the network. They already did this once before, right? Like there used to be the real Ethereum is Ethereum Classic, but they decided not to let the quote unquote hacker get paid. Not that he really was a hacker,
Do you think the ESG narrative might have contributed to centralizing Ethereum more and making it more easy to attack and control?
100%.
I think that it's going to flip Bitcoin within the next year and a half to 2 years. And then I think
we're gonna have the number one token is gonna all be on exchange, most likely to be all on exchanges.
Well, here's the good news, bro. I made a copy of that network, and maybe my guys are smarter and don't stick all their coins on exchanges. So
you could do a little DEX or something, guys. What's up with SBF who posted the N letter? Like, what's that?
I couldn't understand what you said. What letter?
Well, SBF just posts like letter by letter, and then he posted
I'm trying to ignore the whole SBF letter thing because it just seems such a silly attention grabbing.
Like his mental health.
It spells out happen if you want to work it out. That helps in anything, but
We had Martin Shkreli come on and because he's been through a kind of similar situation.
Hacked or trolling.
Yeah. So, but we had Martin's thoughts on it. We had the insider come on yesterday, spend a couple of hours giving us his thoughts. It just if we kind of conclude there's most likely him grabbing attention. I know there's a few conspiracy theories, but we got caught our attention. I said I'll never mention it again, but it seems to keep coming up every time he posts a letter, so he's winning. But I would definitely get back to the topic. But I want to
guys, basically the one thing you can all do is frame this as a failure of centralized crap and not crypto. Crypto is doing great. Centralized crap is not.
Richard, you said that you think that Ethereum will flip Bitcoin. I'm curious to know your other reasons why. And by the way, great line of questioning, Simon. But I'm very curious. You said that I believe that too.
The parade of imaginary horribles rarely comes true. The parade of imaginary horribles rarely comes true. All of these blockchain softwares are pretty crap, to tell you the truth, and all of them can be attacked. You can do Eclipse attacks. You can do denial of service attacks. I mean, if you Google Bitcoin critical vulnerabilities, they've had endless critical vulnerabilities, but the majority of them were fixed and patched before anyone bothered to do them because it's not profitable to do them. You'd be better off
Richard,
taking your...
Tara Bull would like to ask you a question. That's okay.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Tara, the mic is yours. Can you hear us?
I can hear everyone except Richard, so unfortunately spaces are awful and need a lot of work done to them.
For you.
Close your app and come back, and
She's
we'll move
pretending.
you up as speaker again.
Yeah, one thing you could do, Tara, is I'm gonna DM you an invite. So don't put your hand up. So drop down, shut down the app,
I thought
DM
she
me when
was
that's
joking,
done,
though.
and I'll send you an invite via DM, Tara.
I've
So-
only done that like 15 times just to get up here. But I'll try again. And I'm also gonna DM Elon Musk and ask him to please fix Twitter Spaces for all of our sake.
It actually
him to
glitched
come,
for
though.
him. It glitched for Elon Musk when he was in the space a couple of days ago.
So
I don't know
basically,
if you-
just-in-time security means that most of these threats never happen. They just don't. You can 51% attack works. No, they almost never do. So this fear that Ethereum will somehow be 51% attacked is easily countered by the same social consensus that countered the DAO hacker. It's easily countered by the same social consensus that upgraded the network in the first place. And so if blockchain networks get attacked by bad guys, you just upgrade the software to counteract the bad guy doing stuff. And it's very robust, to tell you the truth. It's the way that you tell that Bitcoin's a real Bitcoin, because there's longer chains, but they don't have as much chain weight. And what measures the chain weight? The humans do. So a lot of these attacks, you don't really have to worry about them. I tell you that the emission rate of Ethereum being nearly negative, having almost no inflation at all, while Bitcoin is still at 2% or 1.79 or something like that, it's a really big deal. And if Bitcoiners' main claim to fame is, oh, we're hard money, our inflation keeps going down. Well, I got bad news for you. Ethereum has less inflation than you now. And all the devs, and all the projects, and all the on-ramping, and all the features, and all the stable coins. It has everything. And it did way better than its previous all-time high. 1,500 to 5,000 is a much better jump than 20K to 69K. So, Ethereum's going to murder Bitcoin in this next bull run. Wouldn't it be funny if that rainbow chart just went all the way into the ground? Lol, I hope not, but it's good.
Ninja, you have a
Hey,
question?
Richard, you said something that I think is quite true. You said that crypto isn't broken. Crypto isn't the problem. And I totally agree with you. What is the problem is how crypto has been used as a speculative asset, with all these middlemen and all these, clowns and their scams and, promotions. I mean, if none of that would have happened and we would have just used crypto as it was intended, as a new means of payment and control of our own financial freedom, we wouldn't be in this shit show right now. We're probably in all these years that crypto is already here. If we would have focused on actually using it the way it was intended, we may have already replaced the outdated, corrupt financial system that we're living under. So I find it really refreshing that you remind us that crypto is fine. It's just how we're using it is bad.
Well, I think a way of having hard money in order to counter the wealth destruction that's created by fiat currency, and have the ability to save in something that's more easy to audit and more easy to send than gold. I think that's a really, really important use case. And if we just created another payment rails, then everybody's stablecoin would be inflating away at the same rate that the dollar's inflated away. And to produce an exit for savings and bring savings back into the economy is important.
There's no inflating away, because we're not printing most cryptos. I mean, there's some inflationary cryptos.
Yeah, but you're talking about
the reason why we have inflation in fiat is because there's endless money printing, and will just continue until it's worthless.
There's endless money printing in crypto, but as long as your expenses are in a different currency to the one that you're trying to save in, you will always have Gresham's law, and humans will always spend the money that they think goes down in value and save the money that they think goes up in value, and you can't change that. And it's why stable coins are the only thing that got adoption in as a medium of exchange, because unless things are priced in the same currency, you'll always make those kind of rational decisions, or try and then you end up in the situation where you're just using crypto in order to accumulate more dollars, which is what creates the speculative frenzy.
So it's literally just greed that is fucking ourselves. We're not going to get more freedoms, peace around the world, all the progress that crypto is promising, because we're just greedy fuckers.
No, you can have hard money, and then you can have the ability to use fiat on a blockchain in the same currency at which things are priced in. That's where we're headed, and it's working. You're not going to get rid of this symbiotic relationship between fiat currency and an exit from fiat currency. That's what we've got to fight for, because you'll never get one extreme or the other. You'll get choice, and fiat currency is very useful for managing your expenses each month. Like I would hate to have to pay my rent in Bitcoin because I couldn't plan for that financially, and I haven't got time to think about hedging strategies.
Yeah, but Simon, it's this paralysis that keeps crypto from taking off. Crypto was not meant to be held as a store of value. It was meant to be used as a transaction tool, peer-to-peer.
Then they shouldn't have made the supply fixed. If you want people to spend it, you have to increase the velocity of money, which is where you start increasing the supply to encourage spending. If you want fixed supply and you want hard money, then people are going to always naturally gravitate towards saving hard money and spending money that they think is going to go down in value. Like you're never going to buck that trend.
So like I think that you guys are basically agreeing with each other, but you don't want to. So you're just getting like snippy. We're talking about the world's best performing asset that's ever existed in the history of mankind. Ethereum's up 300,000%. Bitcoin's up 700 million%. Even my coin's up 60,000%. Everyone here got rich except the guys that just bought the top in the last year and a half. So by and large, the vast majority of people that bought during the majority of these coins' existence are up massively. So
unless they traded, the investors that got through the 4-year cycle have always won.
Yep, the guys that trade are the food that makes the chart go up higher, unless the scammers de-risk into U.S. dollars.
Or so unless they left it in a centralized exchange.
Yeah, but even then, as long as it didn't actually exit to fiat, it pumps all the market cap still. So there's this weird mechanic in crypto where if people scam and I have a perfect example for guys. You guys are going to love this. The U.S. government just seized $1 billion from the Silk Road hacker that is just brand new, just came out a few days ago. Guess what? He just sat on the 50,000 Bitcoin. He didn't spend them. So if a hacker comes along and sucks up $1 billion of your stuff and never sells it, similar to Satoshi, it just pumps the market caps and it never hurts the price. So, a lot of these centralized coins like ERC20s, like BNB, for instance, you go look at the ownership cap table and it's like the top 100 addresses own 90% of the coins. And it doesn't matter what ERC20 you pick, but BNB's made all-time highs versus Bitcoin consistently. BNB has been a better performing asset than Bitcoin. Well, lol, that's pretty interesting, right? So now look, there's the counterparty risk there, like they're doing a burn, they might not burn anymore, all this different stuff. But like my point is that centralized ownership is very often amazing for price performance, but people confuse it with centralized network, which is bad for censorship resistance. And so for price pump, you prefer centralized ownership. What's the least centralized ownership coin in crypto? Bitcoin. And what's the least gains in crypto? I don't know, Bitcoin, only 3x'd in 5 years. Well, that sucks.
You've got to add an element of risk adjusted to everything.
Sure, 100%, sure. But look, when stuff like, so my point is, this is the best performing asset class that's ever existed. It has nearly 100% uptime. You're getting free airdrops out the yin yang. Pulse Chain is going to give you a free copy of everything on the Ethereum network. And we got 10 or 20, well, I don't know, maybe 10 airdrops during the last bull run. Where else in the real world do you get actual free money? You don't. The real world does not have free money on offer. But in crypto, I swear to God, there's actual real free money. It's wild. It's like insane. How lucky are we? And I mean, so if the government would just take its grubby, dirty hands off of our amazing technology, stop with the regulatory horror of making it illegal to sell the stuff to your friend, let exchanges flourish and have American customers, and let capitalism and competition do what it does best and give users choice and they choose the better thing, we'd be glorious. Why do you think everyone used FTX? I mean, FTX basically just came up because the founders of BitMEX got arrested. The guys that are FOMO tards that want to go FOMO hard didn't want to do it on BitMEX anymore because the founders went to jail for a while. And that's the only reason FTX came up, basically, is because it was considered a more play safe to FOMO and to get wrecked margin trading, in my opinion. My opinion. So look, long story short, there is no better performing asset in the history of mankind. There is no better uptime than 100% uptime. These features are amazing. The fact that you can get around evil governments doing capital control stuff that they might not should be doing, like North Korea or some other communist governments. The fact that you could leave a war-torn area like Ukraine with your money. The fact that if there's another war or a time of strife, you could pay to get your way out of those countries. There's just so many amazing things that crypto does that nothing else can do. It's one of the only things I know of in this world that can change man's relationship to government, and it will make less war. The government goes to war.
I wouldn't, Piotr, I'd let you continue. I think you'll agree with me. I just wouldn't put all governments, or put government in general, in just in a basket of being evil. Like, we had regulators come on, we had the ex White House chief of staff, and he understood crypto. He supported decentralization and self-custody. So I think there's flaws in the current centralized world, but I don't know if even that crypto itself is still an experiment, in my opinion.
If you've got a grandma, they're stealing your grandma's money every single day. The government prints away the value of your grandma's money that she worked her whole life to save every single day. If you're a crippled person, or you're on fixed income, or you're on a pension, your life is totally ruined by the inflation of these guys printing away the value of all your money every single day. They're violating the rights of the citizens. They're violating their right to free speech. Hey, guess what, guys? Here's something that, I'm a little bit pissed off about. I hear Hex influencers are getting subpoenas for promoting Hex. That really upsets me a lot, because Hex isn't a fucking security. It's truly 100% decentralized and launched totally complete and is uneditable and unchangeable. Period.
So Richard, I've got a question for you then. I think, again, I agree with a fair amount of what you said, and I really enjoyed the exchange between you and Simon. And, as I say, I think we've got 16,000 people in here. I'm going to represent probably a proportion of them, which is I'm a novice in this. I have very little, in this industry. So from what I'm hearing from you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that, now in the aggregate scheme of things, everything up's relative to when it first began. But that question leads to me is, so how do us newbies, again, if I'm role playing for some people, get involved? If things are continually getting in a way, we're in a fluctuous period, it's volatile, there's a lot of concern, the encroachment of potentially regulation. And I might point out that a lot of your focus, which is fair enough, is to do with the United States, but it's going to be different in other parts of the world. China's not even, allowing Bitcoin mining. How do we navigate this period as people who want to get involved? They want to understand where to go, how to do it. What would you say to those people?
Quite simply, look, Kraken.com's got thin order books, but Jesse Powell that founded it is a cypherpunk, libertarian, believes in human rights, So now he ain't CEO anymore. Hopefully whoever there is running it is still doing a good job. I don't like referring people to exchanges that have margin trading. They get wrecked. So, but if I had to on-ramp a new user, I'd either on-ramp them to Bitstamp, who apparently will AML KYC you to death and ask you the worst questions ever, or to Kraken that has margin trading, but at least has Monero. Now, how many exchanges have Monero? Almost none of them. Why? Because they're cowards. But Kraken has Monero because Kraken cares more about your ability to be anonymous, your ability to have privacy, your human rights. Privacy is a human right, and you should never feel bad about using it. And anyone that would take it from you, ask them for their email password. Ask them to see their search history on YouTube and on Google and see how quickly they care about privacy again. So I would just tell a new user, look, set up an account on Kraken.com, install MetaMask on your phone, never give anyone your private keys, never give anyone your seed words. There is no support. Anyone that direct messaged you is scamming you. If someone messaged you and said there's support, they're scamming you. If someone messages on Twitter and says there's support, they're scamming you. Don't enter your private keys into a website ever. Do not approve weird dApps. Don't fall for fake giveaways. Don't fall for, I'm going to send you send one, you get two back, fake Elon Musk giveaways. Or lately, all these fake Uniswap liquidity bot giveaways. They're all scams. All you got to do is install MetaMask, save your 12 words, set up a Kraken.com account, wire some money to Kraken.com, buy Ethereum, and then swap that Ethereum to whatever you want using 1inch.io or Matcha.xyz because it spreads your orders across all the available liquidity, gets you best order.
Just some quick breaking news that came from the block here. A GOP lawmaker that donated, that had been given a campaign contribution of $5,000, which is the max typically on these sorts of contributions from an FTX executive. He has now returned those funds, and he is dissing himself after the troubled crypto exchange filed for bankruptcy protection. It says here, FTX Digital Markets co-CEO Ryan Salame gave $5,000 to Hearn Victory Fund, a joint fundraising committee with ties to Hearn's campaign. The Help Elect Republicans Now Leadership PAC in the National Republican Congressional Committee. Representative Hearn has donated the money from FTX. Hearn's campaign said it did not specify which organization received Hearn's donations. So Salame was a major political donor during the 2022 midterm cycle. It says here he spent millions to support more than a dozen Republicans with his American Dream Federal Action Super PAC. Salame also gave individual contributions to many lawmakers and candidates.
So when are they going to get back the $50 million that Sam Bankman-Fried gave them to double our taxes?
Yeah, exactly.
I was just about
by
to
the
say,
way, guys, Tara is back up, and let her have her question.
That's actually perfect. I can hear Richard now, and I think I can hear everyone else. So thank you guys so much for working with me. I know this is extremely frustrating when the tech isn't working properly, but I appreciate the work you're doing to make it work out. Really quick, I don't want to keep you, Richard, but I wanted to ask you just what you guys were talking about, what you think, should be the recourse for these types of things. Should there be payback? Should there be money sent back from political parties that accepted huge donations from Sam and FTX? What are your thoughts on that? And I also wanted to ask you about the SEC, as being kind of the governing body who has been preaching regulation, but at the same time, do we trust the SEC, Gary Gensler, who is obviously, well, in my opinion, bought and paid for to do the job fairly?
Well, good news. They already figured this out. It's called fungibility. So I think it was in the 1800s. Some guy got his money stolen, and he wrote down the serial numbers of the bills. And then he went to the bank, and he's like, hey, you've got my stolen property. These are the bills numbers that were stolen from me. And there was a big court case about it, a long time ago. And it basically said that to have a functioning currency, you can't have people doubting the provenance and origin of the currency because it would cripple all commerce, basically. And you'd have to create a database of less good and more good coins and have risk profiles and a bunch of other horrible crap. And so basically in the fiat currency world, once someone steals your money, it ain't your money no more. And so if someone steals your money and gives it away to a political party, it's gone. You ain't getting it back. If someone steals your money and spends it on slushies at 7-Eleven, you ain't getting that money back from 7-Eleven. It would break the fungibility of the currency. So you can claw back money from the bankrupt entity through the bankrupt process, and you'll discover you're an unsecured creditor and that the secured creditors get preferential treatment and are made whole before you, and you'll get whatever's left, and you can hope there's something left. So in the case of Mt. Gox, there is something left, and users will get a lot of money back at some point. Even there's a tragedy of the commons because the trustee gets paid by not giving you your money back. As soon as the trustee gives you your money back, he ain't got a job no more. And he likes getting paid a lot of money. So he wants to drag on the process.
Well, that's not quite true, right? Like in any bankruptcy case, that there is a time horizon for that. Yes, they make money, but at some point they actually do divest the funds to those who are.
I mean, you think it takes 10 years for Gox to give its creditors their money, bro?
They aren't purposely withholding them for a set amount of fees per year for one or two people holding them.
At this rate of inflation, it'll be worth half its value.
10 years ain't reasonable. It's unreasonable.
I'm not saying it's reasonable or not. I'm just saying that that fees for one or two people for holding them is not the catalyst for them withholding assets from people.
But the point is still the same. It absolutely sucks.
I hope you're right, but you have a higher opinion of lawyers than me, bro. So, basically,
the lawyers are absolutely horrific in bankruptcy. It's awful.
Yep. So basically, like, once you get jacked, you're gonna stay jacked. Like in crypto, when you lose your money, man, it usually don't come back. So all them bridges that got hacked, like, I don't know, dude. I don't think that money ever came back. So a lot of these inflation bugs, like XLM had an inflation bug. Ravencoin had an inflation bug. Hackers they had a 10% of the supply inflation bug. Hackers just dumped it on exchange. You get that money back, it's gone. Like, so what would I like to see? I'd like to see people never lose money, and if they do, to be made whole. But who's supposed to make you whole, right? Like this idea that someone was saying that like there should be a bailout
Jesus
fund.
Can make you whole.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a bailout
sit
fund.
well, Richard, for me is when the regulating body is receiving large sums of money from potentially one side of the aisle, I guess you could say, and then they're in charge of regulation. You know, what's stopping them from regulating in favor of certain things that should not be allowed because their pockets are being lined that way?
I 100% agree with you that governance in the general electoral system is broken. So I have a solution on how to fix that. So I won't say it's simple, but we need smarter people running for office, which means we need to pay them more because their pay sucks.
No, we need no office, though. We need just decentralization. That's what we need.
Yeah, but we also need the other stuff too. Like, but we need both.
You know, in Switzerland,
Richard, I don't
the
think there's anything wrong with
executives, and that's what they do. They're just nothing but employees, so they don't even propose laws or anything. You know, the laws comes from the referendums, and most of the people vote no because you don't want to have a pile of laws. You want to have as least laws.
Yeah, but you guys approved the COVID vaccine restrictions.
Yeah,
so
fine, but this was an overreach, and now there's a referendum that's going to come in order to never have that again. So. It takes time sometimes.
I was rooting for you. I was like, "There's no way that people would vote for this," but then you did.
I can't believe it either. But whatever.
An important distinction. The word bailout is charged because you think of a government bailout, which is theft, because that's just printed and you pay for it through inflation. But there's not much wrong with a free market bailout.
Except for the centralization. Yeah. Except for the centralization.
Yeah, sure, but it shouldn't be prevented if people want to create a free market solution.
It's not really a bailout. You're just buying some assets that are distressed. Like there's nothing bailout about it. You're just buying something that sucks. You're like, oh, it sucks. It's not worth as much now. Okay, I'll buy it at the suck price.
The problem is when you print money in order to do that, because that's just a hot potato where you're just paying with inflation. That's just
I mean, guys, the solution is like, don't get punched in the face. You're like, but I got punched in the face. It hurts. You're like, yeah, you have to stop getting punched. You were given all the tools possibly necessary to not get punched. There's nothing easier in the world than not to have had this problem. I and anyone else I know has literally had no fallout at all from this. As a matter of fact, actually, all of this crap happening just makes my predictions come true quicker. So the Band-Aid can get ripped off quicker. So
and I wanna ask you for another prediction, if I may. Let's assume nothing much changes, right? There will be all kinds of regulation. Where do you see crypto realistically in 5 years from now?
I think you'll have 150K Bitcoin. I think you'll have 100K Ethereum, maybe. Like, I'm just pulling these numbers off the top of my head. Like, so if Bitcoin's last bull cycle did a 3x, maybe because it'll be a heavier weight. Like, if it dumps far enough, like if it exceeds the 85% downside target because money got more expensive, then you might just see another 3x. So, like, you might just see maybe from 70K to 200K. So, like, 150 to 200K, I feel are like conservative, reasonable estimates for Bitcoin's next bull run, which should be starting anytime soon if they pivot and stop printing money.
Yeah, exactly. It also depends on how much money they print. It works a bit like gold. It's not that gold is taking any value. It was $35 an ounce in 71, but it's just that they're sending the fiat so much in the drain that we now have 1,700, even with manipulation, according to my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it depends if they print, because the big risk here, guys, and this is a tail event, is, like I said, it would be a massive deleveraging, because just as much as there is so much leverage on the fake market cap and pump and dump it over the shit coins, the traditional market is the same. You have $800 trillion with a T of derivatives, and none of those are back. So
here's the funny part.
Wait, Richard, you just made a little mistake. I heard you say earlier that you thought Ethereum will surpass Bitcoin in value, but now you said Bitcoin 150, Ethereum 100. So which one is it?
Well, Ethereum maxed out at 5K. 5K to 100 is a 20x. Bitcoin from 70K to 200 is a 3x. So that's a 7x performance in Ethereum's favor, looking at all-time high to all-time high.
Guys, I got a prediction. I got Dogecoin beating the performance of Bitcoin anytime right now.
Everything's going to beat Bitcoin.
If you have to go, like my theory is this, okay? Just let me lay it out in 2 sentences. Theory number 1, they're all shit coins. It's all speculation. It's not money. You guys are blind. And then number 2 is, if I were to go fully degenerate, then let's not half-ass it. Let's go full degeneracy. And then in that case, you go and buy some Dogecoin, and then you end up with what you were looking for. The only bag of coins I have is like the most degenerate shit coins I can possibly get, because they do the job of being the speculation. Bitcoin is not going to do 10,000x once again, but Dogecoin, the simulation we live in is so bloody absurd, and COVID proved it, that I'm thinking, why not? So plus you add Elon Musk coming in and is basically saying, what, let's mindfuck everybody. I mean, I can see that. That's my thesis, my big investment thesis. What do you think?
I think your thesis is called Scams Pump Hardest. LOL. I mean, you're promoting a logo change coin. It's like, okay, dude.
So let me tell you what I think is going to happen. I think what we are facing is the biggest financial economic crisis since the Great Depression. I think what's going to happen is we'll see a massive crash in the global markets. We're going to see massive inflation moving into hyperinflation. And I think that the crypto space will not be unaffected by it. I think we're going to go through a number of really, really difficult years. And in that process, people are going to demand an alternative. They are going to say, you fucked us, your system that you put on us didn't work, we want something else. And that is when I think crypto will really take off.
100% I agree, man.
When you say crypto, can you define what you mean by crypto? Does that mean Dogecoin?
What's so beautiful? So Richard said something earlier that is absolutely key to this, and that is competition will decide what's the best. Right now, there's only 4% of internet users that had even any exposure to crypto. So, Bitcoin may be the number 1 right now, but that can change completely. And, I'm a great believer in this competition. So anyone who calls other cryptos shitcoins, to me, doesn't understand how important competition is. Because the more cryptos you have that are competing with each other, the more innovation you have, the better the products become, the more robust it becomes. And those who stop innovating and just call everything else a shitcoin are going to lose. They will disappear. They will not be superior. So, I don't know which one it will be, but I have a feeling it's not going to be Bitcoin.
It's safe to say that the one backed by the government will be the one that is like the chosen one, sort of like what we're seeing here with FTX. We had the World Economic Forum promoting FTX on their website. It's since been removed.
The
Well,
page,
they
by the way.
just taken that down, by the way.
Yeah,
If you
they
go to
removed
the
the page,
WEF website now, that page is
So
gone.
that's what Elon Musk responded to me about today. And since my account is now being completely messed with, I think that's why I was having issues coming up as a speaker on here, which I find very sus. But I did mention the FBI and what they were doing with Mark Zuckerberg and all of that. So they were essentially forcing him to censor things on Facebook, according to Zuckerberg. If I end up dead, I didn't do it, guys. I'm just letting you know right now, but something is happening with my account.
I think whatever is going to win the crypto crown in the end is going to be the easiest to use, the fastest instant payments, the lowest fees. That's what I believe in.
Well, that's CBDC, so I guess we're screwed.
Yeah, that's PayPal. That's the more centralization, the cheaper, the faster, the better, the easier.
Hey,
Richard, when you were talking about, but going back, this ties into what Tara was saying and what Kim.com was saying about Ethereum overtaking Bitcoin or another coin. Do you think that one of the reasons why Ethereum will overtake Bitcoin is because of all the added layers, layer 2, layer 3s, but also with all of the DeFi that's already been built on there, the NFTs that are thriving on there, and then also the gaming that's going to come on there, or something else? I'm just really curious your thesis.
I mean,
yes,
I want very few things from my crypto. I want number go up, mad gains. Yes, please. I want security, no failures. I want 100% uptime. I really would like anonymity, but okay, I held Bitcoin for a real long time, and it didn't have any anonymity at all, basically, and it was still okay. And I want to be able to de-risk into stable. I'd prefer stables that are really stable with less counterparty risk, but hey, even your bank has counterparty risk, so it's kind of bearable, I guess. I would prefer something better. But, you don't lose all your money on FTX. Like if you were sitting in DAI or USDC or USDT, you didn't lose your money in FTX. So basically, that's all I need. I need a good consensus layer. I need security. I need number go up. And everything else is kind of like narrative mean crap to me. Oh, look, we got a new trading thing that gets people wrecked. Cool.
I don't see it as a winner takes all. I see a future where we see multiple types of currencies collaborating with each other and ultimately consumers having the option of choosing what works for them. I think there's a place for central bank digital currencies. I think there's a place for Bitcoin. I think there's a place for Ethereum. And to advocate for one over the other is misplacing the advantages.
What do we need a central bank digitized currency when we already have decentralized? Curious. Why do we need someone central controlling the money that can have a tap into it and say yes or no? Why do we need that?
Sometimes you need systems that people trust. You have to remember that the everyday consumer on the ground only knows the fiat. They only know the currency.
But that's what I'm saying. Why do we need it if we got fiat? We have fiat. I have a digital dollar through PayPal, through Venmo.
But you don't have a social credit score.
But the thing is, your Venmo and your PayPal isn't an open public e-money system. A central bank digital currency is actually more beneficial for the crypto space than a digitized dollar on PayPal. And the reason for that, as a matter of fact, let me step back a second. I invented central bank digital currencies in 2013 when I founded Bit.com. I'm sorry to those that think it was a bad maneuver, but the reason it was invented was because the banks in Barbados were shutting down our accounts. And I wanted a way to allow consumers to move Barbadian dollars into Bitcoin. And I always wondered if Bitcoin was this open ledger that was interfaceable, how could I accomplish that at the central banking level? And that was the genesis of what created central bank digital currencies. As a matter of fact, the very first CBDC instance that we created out of Barbados, the Bitcoin was on the Bitcoin colored coin protocol. Obviously, things have changed dramatically since. since central banks want more control, they'd like a level of aspects that permissionless ledgers don't necessarily offer. And I will stand and say that I believe the holy grail of the CBDC space, which no one has done, no central bank has ever done as yet, is akin to cash, which is creating a permissionless M0 tiered 1 system on a ledger like Bitcoin or Ethereum. And no, unfortunately, no central bank has done that. And I do believe that's the holy grail. And I do believe that is extremely important to allow consumers to have a safe and easy way to port between the traditional financial world and the modern cryptocurrency world. So that's my 2 cents on the topic for the least. And I don't think central bank digital currencies are bad. I think that there's merit to them. And I believe that if you're going to judge the central bank digital currency, you have to look at the government and the regulator creating it, because they're the ones that define the feature set. Now, I've spoken to more central banks than most people have, and most governors over my years and journey in doing this. And you will notice the good central bankers from the bad ones. The good ones want to build a system that has privacy, that allows
Who are
the
the good
users
ones?
to...
I'm curious to know, like, who can we say in history are good central bankers? Can you give us some American examples of good central bankers?
I can. Governor Timothy
Sorry, that's a
Antoine.
joke.
Governor Timothy Antoine of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is, in my opinion, one of the shining stars. You know, he wishes to empower his people to have a system that allows them to have financial inclusion. If I could step back even further here, you know, I come from Barbados, a region that does not have sovereignty over our banking system, which is all foreign owned. And when I think about our central bank deploying an open public money service that any financial institution can integrate into, I think that's one of the most important things you can do for a nation. So I don't downcry CBDCs, and I think anyone that does...
So no, and I hear you. So you'd say it would be a better solution for Barbados, and I get it. Like, that makes sense. It would be a solution for your country. But we're talking about, I'm talking about America, who is kind of one of the biggest players.
But America isn't the world. America is not the world. There's 190 countries out there that are...
I don't know if it's me,
Okay,
but I can't
that's
hear
not
Ninja.
working.
Ninja, you're not working, mate.
Ninja, your mic is messed up, bro. So you fix your internet. But
Hey
go ahead,
guys,
Gabriel.
I would like to ask the panel a really simple, short question. What is the biggest threat to crypto in the next 5 years? Let's see who gets it right.
The biggest threat to crypto in the next 5 years is attacking proof of work.
Wrong. Next.
No, I would say it's a lack of regulation, frankly. I would say that if we have no regulation in the next 5 years, we're going to see some major plummets.
Okay. You keep saying wrong. What is the answer? Let's not play this game. What is the answer?
Nuclear fucking war. That is the biggest risk we are facing right now. And in a nuclear war, there is no fucking crypto. You know, it's game over.
No sense. In a nuclear war, we don't.
That makes no sense. In a nuclear war, you could use that question for everything. What's the threat to automobiles? Nuclear. What's the threat to food production? Nuclear war. Come on, kid.
We're not going to see a nuclear war, so let's just move.
Well, let me explain something.
Guys,
to you,
I love this because
think...
we have an ambassador speaking to a ninja, and quite frankly, Mario, great job here.
So anyway, let me explain this to you. What's happening in the world right now, okay? The US is fighting for its survival. It's so highly indebted. It has no ways of, paying that debt back ever. We're now at 600 to 800 billion a year just to pay interest. The US dollar is getting inflated. And now the US has real competition by the BRICS countries that are setting up right now a new joint reserve currency. The moment that happens, even if they can just establish a 30% share of global trade under this new currency, the US government will fold. The debt will absolutely kill it and bankrupt it. And the big question here is, how far is the US government willing to take this inevitability? Are they going to accept to be impoverished because of all of the debt and a complete collapse of the US system? Or are they going to say, China, Russia, and all these other BRICS countries, we're going to take you down with us? This is the big battle that we're facing right now.
Kim, I want to look. The BRICS are overrated. 3 of them have not even remotely lived up to their potential. 1 of them has been suffered by political paralysis, i.e. Brazil. South Africa has been plagued by corruption and inability. And the Russians are about to implode if you look at the level of sanctions. Yes, they may have support from a large proportion of countries, but that is not going to surpass another factor that is affecting the Russians, which is depopulation. Equally, if you look at China...
You have to say that, Piotr, because you're with the World Bank.
No, so I don't have to say anything. I'm on here as a free agent.
Wait a minute.
Come on. Let me. No, you speak a lot. I want to speak my turn. So... China has a major demographic and debt problem, okay? China is not the impervious country that we think it is, and you can tell that from zero COVID. You can tell that from a lot of issues that the country has internally. If they conduct such a war on Taiwan, for example, that is going to cripple their economy to extents that we have not seen before. And whether or not I don't disagree with your point about indebtedness and the level of the deficit of the United States, that is a major problem.
Let me tell you
to
something
simply
about
say that the BRICS are going to uphold...
Let me respond to that, because I think you're wrong here. So U.S. debt, right, is national debt of 32 trillion, total debt of 92 trillion, and unfunded liabilities of 172 trillion. The U.S. government, wait a minute, the U.S. government in the last 70 years had 4 years of surplus. And the total amount of surplus that it had doesn't even pay for half a year of government spending right now. So the US is fucked. It's over. And let me tell you about BRICS. The countries that have now signed up or proposed to sign up with BRICS Plus have...
Iran and Argentina. Oh, yeah, they're really going to be changing, aren't they?
Let me finish. I let you finish, right? So let me finish. Fair enough. They will have a GDP larger than 30% of that of the US. They have 50% of the global population and 60% of the oil and gas reserves of the world. And all they need to achieve is 30% of the world to start using this alternative reserve currency that they are going to pack with real assets like gold, silver, oil, minerals. So if they achieve that, do you think the US is just going to sit back and say, okay, fuck, we lost everything, we're dead? Or are they going to take the world down with them?
That's a different point.
I will say this.
I will say this. So, what, if you don't mind, Ambassador, just